Hi, Kayla. So I think you're probably at the stage of wanting to like fill in your animate or your thing with color. One thing I did notice, your artboard is set up correctly, but you are in the wrong color mode. You need to go to File, Document Color Mode, and make sure you're in CMYK color. When I checked, you were in RGB, and I actually already changed it to CMYK. So make sure you change your document color mode to CMYK. I think this is actually a pretty nice Airstream. I don't think it's dumb at all. So it looks like you got a pretty good start here. You're probably trying to fill in the shapes. One thing I would do first is just maybe keep everything black. I'm not sure what's going on with your swatches. They look kind of goofy to me. They don't look quite right. I would almost keep this all just a line. So take all the fills out and just keep it all outlines for now. Change the colors to black. Make sure you're using black on the colors and removing the fills on your shapes. I would do this first. Okay, so something like that. And this is kind of goofy. We'll take that fill color off there. This hitch might need a little bit of refinement. It's really one of the main things that I'm not liking about it. You might need to just use the pen tool maybe, and just kind of, let's zoom in. I feel like hitches a lot of times are kind of, we'll follow the curve of this by clicking and then dragging out. And then I'm going to push Option and click. I feel like hitches a lot of times are might have to refine this later. If I push Shift, I can get really straight lines. But like I feel like they're triangular, kind of, maybe something a little bit more like this. Oops. Let's get out of there. I'll move this out of the way here. For some reason I can't move it. I'm going to delete it, I guess. So, I mean, maybe something, maybe not quite like that, but, you know, you might need to look at a picture of one, but I'd say something a little more triangular. This would have to be refined a little bit more. I mean, I could, you know, bring this down to clicking with the white arrow tool to open up, and pushing Shift to open up these anchor points, make them white. I can always kind of bring this side in too, because this is a little long, to make it match the other side a little bit better. But, and this is kind of, you know, I could change that slightly so that, yeah. But maybe something a little more like that. Less chunky, I guess. This might need to be a little bit longer too. I mean, it's just a small detail because the end of the wheel comes there. Another thing that's bothering me for some reason is this one line here. It's not a huge deal. Also, this line probably should join all the way over here. This line is bothering me. I think it's because it has a bit of a curve to it. I might have to use the delete anchor point tool to get rid of this little thing here. And I don't know, there seems to be a yellow thing right here. I wonder what's up with that. I'm not sure what that is. Strange. So maybe we could just take this and bring it back, line it up good. Might have to zoom in for that, honestly, really far. Something like that, maybe. There's a yellow thing there, and I'm not sure. And there's one thing about this, too, that I think the main thing is that it has a curve on that just doesn't look quite right to me. So maybe I can just bring this down a little bit and then straighten out this handle so it's not so curved. I could see how maybe you might want a curve on there, because it does, but it is such a flat illustration otherwise that I would say, you know, it's actually standing out as not being correct, having a curve there. And maybe evening this line out so that this is the same as that. And And I did notice something down here too, like there's some variations in the width of this line, it seems like. I don't know why these lines get rough like this, it's weird. Anyway, so something like that would be good to get it to. And then a quick way of doing this would just be to select everything, and the live paint bucket tool under the shape builder would be a good one. Let's see, it's not recognizing all of... Okay, it's not recognizing everything. Is there... Let's see, let's look at the layers. Everything's in the same layer. Okay. So let's do this again. Let's try to use the shape builder tool first. Oh, I might have been in the live select. Okay. Let's go here. We want the gap detection on. Sometimes if your gap detection isn't on, then it just doesn't work. So I double clicked on the shape builder tool, push OK, and I went to gap detection. And I can click these in and make shapes with all of these. Well, it's not working on everything. One way to quickly make this work on everything, for some reason it's not working on that one piece. It's not working on some of the pieces, honestly. Like this main piece worked on the door. It's weird it's not working on that one chunk. It might be because there's maybe an opening somewhere in here, so it's not recognizing it as its own shape, maybe. I'm not really quite sure. Some of these are not being recognized as their own shapes. So if you do have problems with that, then one thing you could do, that would be a workaround, you could do a file export as, and export this to your desktop as a high resolution JPEG file. It needs to be high resolution, so put on JPEG. Use artboards is important to check. Kind of a funny little, I don't think it's dumb at all though. So desktop, export, let's put this on high, and put this on maximum quality. CMYK is fine, push OK. And let's just bring this, let's do a file place, and we'll bring that JPEG back in from our desktop. And here it is. Place, I'm going to click and drag it in at the size I want it to come in at. Maybe I'll make a different artboard. Edit artboards, I'll bring a new one in. So we'll put the, then I'll go back and click off to get, so I don't end up messing up my artboards. But let's bring this over here. And then let's grab the free transform tool, push shift. Make sure you push shift while you're dragging out the corners. And then let's do image trace, black and white logo. And then we can take a look here, open up advanced. You could check ignore white so you don't get any white in there, so you don't have to go through and delete all the white chunks that happen. It's something I don't always show students, but it's a faster way of doing things. And then once you're done, you can push expand. And I just went to the icon, the panel icon, after I did image trace black and white logo. And so now we have just it should just be the black lines, all as one chunk, see, with no white. And so if we work with this, it's cleaner than the other file, and hopefully if we use the live paint bucket tool, we can start filling in different shapes. We can use the arrow tool on our to change the fill color on the paint bucket, but honestly, for some reason your swatches are loaded with just black. I'm not sure how that happened. This looks weird to me. I would say bring in I don't know why you have so much gray and black. So you might have to go to CMYK. Process color is fine. It's weird. I don't know why we can't just load the preloaded swatches. Default swatches. Art and illustration. So I mean, I guess you could use these. And yeah, so you could go here and go to Open Swatch Library. And then find one. The defaults are good. Art and illustration one's pretty good. You could also use print as well. You can add your own colors in here. Sometimes I click over here in the tools panel and then find my color that I like, and then I can just like drag it. Let's see, let's do a control click or command click. No, that's not in this one. That's in InDesign. But I can add it to my swatches. I wonder if I can drag it over here. Yeah, I don't know how to change your swatches panel to like include all these. I guess you could just drag them over one by one. It's kind of annoying. I would delete all these color groups and just start over and drag everything over that you want to bring from maybe the print or the art and illustration panel. And I don't know how else to fix the swatches. I've never seen this before, so I'm not quite sure how to do it. There's probably a faster way to do it, but I'm not sure how to do it. But yeah, anyway, so and then you can start clicking. If you have this selected and you have your light paint bucket tool, you can, go through your swatches panel and use your arrow tool to get through your swatches typically. And you can fill in different colors of your Airstream. Obviously, you might not want to use, you might want to use solid colors, you might want to use gradients. This is the gradient tool here. So let's say I want to add a gradient to this section. Maybe I don't have it quite into its own shape yet. We can use the shape builder tool to create a shape out of this section. We might need to do gap detection. Okay, it's on there. All right, won't that work? Huh. Weird. Okay, we might need to expand it first. Okay. And then, I'm sorry, this is kind of not the best video I've ever made. And then click, and then after you've expanded, you can create shapes out of some of these. So if you're having trouble creating shapes, push expand over in the properties panel, or you can go to object, expand, and then start using the shape builder tool. And then once you get your shapes made, you can select those, and then you can add in gradients. The freeform gradient is a good one to use a lot of the time. And then you can, change your colors to colors that you think are kind of like the Airstream colors. You might want to add a little bit of color mixed in with the Airstream color. But, make maybe a little bit of yellow, whatever might be reflecting out of the sky might be a good thing to add in besides just gray and white. If you want to add gradients. And the thing about the freeform gradient tool is that you can edit the gradient here. You can add in extra dots and change the colors. You can move them around. If you want to delete them, I think you can just, you just drag them out of there. I think you can just drag them out, or maybe just push delete on your keyboard. So you can create a lot of, and if you want to change the color, you double click on them and change the color here, or you can do it here to get it, to use this option to change the color. So that would be a good thing to do. Maybe adding in some sort of person or animal alongside with a landscape in the background, a simple landscape. Your main focus could be the Airstream along maybe with like a dog sitting next to it or something like that, something simple, because the Airstream is relatively simple, so you want the illustration of the animal to match the Airstream to some degree as well. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful. Sorry it was so kind of meandering and long. Talk to you later. Bye.